Hello, my Teacher King family. All right, so what's going on? Another profitable day in baseball. Made 6 units. Um, the Cubs and Tampa are still on their win streak. Colorado finally won, and Cincinnati is still on the losing streak. So there's 3 streaks to go. We have gold at 47.19. It was 47.50. Oh, and then the 10 o'clock drop. And silver at 80.19 was 81 and a half. And at the 10 o'clock drop, it dropped. Hopefully, we get back to 81. Again, it's just manipulated by JP Morgan and the boys. 4 billion banks. We got Mark McGuire is apparently on Wednesdays. I caught him yesterday, but it doesn't come into my box. So it's not like how you get into you go onto YouTube and it gives you a bunch of videos to watch. Well, it doesn't for some reason it's not giving me Mark McGuire. So anyway, I've now figured out he's on Wednesday instead of Friday. Okay, does it matter? No, he's still not on enough. But he did say that BRICS has the gold standard. Russia, China are now the yuan is backed by gold, 1-to-1. They're just going to keep buying the gold. They buy everything they can get their hands on, basically just to keep it away from the West. We don't buy anything because we got our heads up our ass. We don't understand gold because the Keynesians are running the U.S. and the Austrians are running the BRICS. So who's going to win? Of course, the Austrians. So all we can do is understand gold's the only place to be in. I was looking at something and somebody says, "Oh, we just buy gold, silver, and crypto." And I'm like, crypto's not money. Crypto is not real, and it's certainly not money. And so you look at it, and when you see it, you just see that it doesn't buy anything. Well, money by definition is the medium of exchange where you get paid in it and you use it to buy things, right? That's the system is people sell things and you buy things and you need something to buy it with. And in no world is it Bitcoin. This Michael Saylor is the dumbest person I've ever met. Oh, it's not a medium of exchange. You don't even know what a medium of exchange is. How can you buy things with crypto when nobody will take it? So crypto is not money. Money is what is accepted. You go to the restaurant and you pay your bill. That's what money is. You go to work, you get a paycheck. That's what money is. You get the check, you then spend it. That's the medium of exchange. You're exchanging this for goods and services and for your skill. And that's never been different. But how does Bitcoin turn into money? How is it a store of value? You don't even know what it's worth. It's 120. No, it's 65. Now it's 75. What's it worth? You have no idea. Gold's being manipulated. So gold's worth 10 times more. So when I see gold at 47.07 now, it's really 47,000, and silver's at 81. It's really 810, but it's really much higher than that because it's really getting hammered. Again, why is it going down? Because it's 10 o'clock and the banks are shorting it. Why? I guess they make money on the shorts. I don't know. Mark McGuire's extremely confusing on this issue. Well, we're getting all the people. It's just speculators in there. Well, apparently it's the 4 billion banks, and apparently they don't want the price to go up, and they're long on their books, but they keep shooting the price down. So that doesn't make sense. It's contradictory. Again, when will it? Why are we still using it, and when will it collapse? Now, apparently, a lot of people are using Shanghai, but he doesn't even get that. The Shanghai price does not even go up as it should. It's like $10 over the spot price of Comex. Well, that's not a physical price because it's still using the Comex supply as a way to get the amounts in, and it's just ridiculous. So again, crypto is not money because you can't spend it. Money is just simply to get paid and to buy goods and services with it, right? That's what money is. It's a way to buy things. Okay, think of it as simple as that. Can you buy things with crypto? No. Is it real? No. How do you even go to a restaurant and pay for it? Well, I got a crypto in my wallet. Okay, but they don't take it. I can walk in with an ounce of silver and they will take it in a heartbeat. So again, if you can't pay with it, it's not money. Simple as that. Money buys goods and services. The idea was you hold money and you buy a bond or in a savings account, and you get 3% interest. It's like, oh, good. I'm making money on my money. Well, let's get into stocks and we can make even more money. Let's do leverage with options and we can make even more money, although you can lose money. And then you got gold and silver. Well, it doesn't really move. Well, it doesn't move because they're keeping the price down. But in the real world, in a normal world, gold would be through the roof, as would silver. And with the war, apparently it's a cross, which means that as the gas price goes up, the dollar is more valuable than the euro because then the euro is what's going down because they need to sell it to pay for the oil. So the dollar, which really doesn't gets stronger versus the euro, but because whatever this cross is, so as the dollar goes up, gold goes down. So it's really because of this oil thing that I wonder if Trump is doing on purpose. Because of that, the gold appears to be going down, even though it's just because the dollar is getting stronger to the euro, because the euro is basically collapsing because they can't afford the oil in these countries. So that's basically what's happening. Finally, silver's turning up to 80.22 and gold's 47.05. But we don't worry about it minute by minute. So again, it's because of the dollar being stronger than the euro and because of some sort of cross, which makes zero sense to me. They're not related, the dollar and gold, at all. They're separate they're separate they're separate goods or services or whatever you want. I think they're goods and they're totally separate. You print the dollar to death, it's not worth anything. That doesn't make gold go up. It just simply makes the dollar go down. Gold goes up because of the market. If the market wants gold and the demand's there, then they buy the gold. It's as simple as that. So that's really what's happening. And anyway, crypto is not money. It's just like buying a baseball card. It's a collectible that you're trying to you hope goes up. And so the reason they think crypto, because they think it's limited to 21 million bits, because there ain't no coins in it. So if it's limited to 21 million, then it'll hold value, which is just bullshit because you don't know if there's 21 million. Prove it. You don't have any idea. John C., hello. So really, that's what's happening. This is the same 10 o'clock bullshit we get every day, which we know. And once in a while, it doesn't go down, but usually it does. they're doing price setting or price fixing or whatever the fuck they do at 10 o'clock. So once we start going up, then we should get back to 47.50, but the real price of gold's 10 times 10, because gold would never go down. An item only goes down if the demand goes down, and there's no, the demand doesn't go down. The reserve currency is gold. BRICS has it. BRICS is now gold back, which I will watch Mark McGuire, and the dollar is worthless as it keeps getting printed and printed. And that's the flaw in it. That's the flaw of all these currencies is when you keep printing it, the value drops, which people don't understand. So anyway, let me take my D picture. So anyway, that's the frustrating news. As we watch we're expecting the price to go up because of demand and supply, because that's how prices move in a real market. But in a price fixed market where the Fed is telling these bullion banks to short it, we're not getting a real, just like gold, the stock market is high because they keep printing money and putting it in the stock market. That's why I laugh when the sailor idiot goes, well, the big seven stocks are higher, da, 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 da. Yeah, because the government's printing money, not because the stocks are any good. Amazon's going to get hurt. People are going to do less buying. Like this TV table I bought, from IKEA, the world's worst store in the world. If I bought it from Amazon, I'd have to put it together. And the whole thing's just the Ponzi scheme. Buy the table for $50. You're not going to be able to put it together, and you're going to pay us $50 to put it together. And so they're creating. It's like Vegas with the resort fees, as I said. So I'm much calmer, but I didn't like it. I'm hoping my friend can come this weekend, and he's pretty mechanical. He'll be able to figure it out. Otherwise, I might have to call like a handy man who can, do this kind of stuff. I don't know what you call it, but he can then make it. It shouldn't be that difficult. It's just, it's a stand, right? My coffee table's fine, but I can't put my shelf in it, and I don't really need the shelf, so I'm not even going to try. But it's very confusing to put the shelf in. There's no holes in the legs of the chair. What am I just going to screw the hole in? They don't even put holes in. So, I might just drive by and just drop it in their lap, say, here, fuck you, here, take this bullshit. And I do want to go talk to the manager there. My rent. So I move out of my old place. I pay my last rent. I have a $200 security deposit, and they're trying to fuck me. First they say, well, you didn't pay the $90 for the water and the trash and stuff. And I said, yeah, I did on Tuesday. And there was a $50 charge, which I assume is a late charge, which I paid it on time. You get 5 business days. Then there's they wanted to charge me $232 for damage with the $200 resort, $200 security deposit. So they said, well, pay $232. I go, well, how about the $200 security deposit? Let's just wash it off. I'll pay you $20 and call it even. I've already paid the $90. I'm not paying $50 because it wasn't late, and it wasn't even rent. It was just utility stuff. And so I'm waiting to get a response. But my friend said they're just doing that so they don't have to pay the security deposit. I'm fine. I wasn't counting on the $200. It means nothing to me. They can go fuck themselves. So if I don't hear from them, I'll just pay them $20 on Monday and say, hey, go fuck yourself. And really all they're trying to do is get out of paying the security deposit. They can't afford the 200. I'm glad I'm not living there anymore. What a nightmare that was. Very noisy. Here, I'm not really hearing a lot of noise. The biggest thing is my fridge. Any fridge guys out there? Where it comes on like every half hour. The fan, like the coolant, comes on. Even if I don't open the door, I was out all day with Alyssa yesterday, and then I come in and the thing's on, and I'm like, I haven't opened the door. Why is it on so much? Now at my old place, I don't know if it was on all the time. I didn't hear it, and it was in the kitchen, and I had a normal size apartment, so if it was on, it wasn't noticeable, and it might have come on every half hour. I don't know, but it seems to come on every 20 minutes and lasts about 15 minutes. And I like it now. It's not on. I got peace and quiet. I can relax. So we'll see about that. I had him come out. It was loud. It's not as loud now. I think it just had to be on because it probably wasn't on for a while, and then it did it. So anyway, that's kind of where it's at, and hopefully, if I got the TV on, I don't hear it much. I never hear it when I'm sleeping, or that would be, I would run out and buy a new fridge, which I'm tempted to do anyway, depending on how this goes. But now it's nice and quiet. I'm scared to open it up because as soon as I like take my milk out for coffee or take my lemon out for my olive oil, then it kicks on. And yeah, I wouldn't mind if it kicked on for 5 minutes and was off for an hour, but it seems to be on too much. We'll see. I haven't. I'm paying my old utility bills now. I just got both of them in, and they're both due. So I will pay them both from the April, which I expected. So now we'll see how these Mays play out. They charged me $250 for using my debit card. Unbelievable, as opposed to like my checking account. I guess there's no, so I'll probably load up my checking account. Anyway, I got more stuff out. You can see my Van Gogh right here. I got that hung up. I got another one over here. My diploma's over there, and I got a Picasso right in front of me. So I was at the Picasso Museum in Barcelona, and I bought two of them, but I have like the book here. So I bought this so I could theoretically take a picture of this and print it out and then hang 4 or 5 Picassos on the wall. Even though they're not real, it's still nice to have Picassos on the wall. So I might go through that and color the place up a little bit more. It's a smaller place, but for me, it's fine. It is 2 bedroom, but it's only 1 bathroom, and it's small. There's no like place like to put your stuff. Like the other one had like a counter. There's no counter in the bathroom. They're very tiny. Just the sink, and I can put stuff on the toilet as a counter, but there's no counter. So I don't know if I can put some table in there or not. Maybe try to figure out something to get some room. I don't really need it, but when Alyssa's over, she likes to spread out a little bit. Anyway, got the new comforter, fine. Got the little drawer with the silverware because my silverware drawer is too big for these drawers. But otherwise, the oven I'm figuring out. I'm supposed to get a new oven. I'm waiting to hear on that. And then just the fridge, as long as it keeps quiet and doesn't cost me $1 million, and the electric, because it's always on cooling down, even though I don't open it. It probably shouldn't, but I don't think that'll be too much. Anyway, so IKEA is a scam. Just realize if you don't know how to put furniture together, don't go to IKEA, because they're going to charge you $52 plus whatever it costs. And if you're going there because it's less expensive, because it's not put together, then you're going to have to figure out how to put it together. So I'm actually seeing if my friend can do it. Otherwise, I'll return it and just look for a store that sells them already made, or something that I can get. I know Gardner White, I believe it comes, you don't put it together, but Uh, we will see. I won't shop there because their stuff is crap, but I'll see if I can find a place that can put it together and not charge me, the price of the TV stand. So we will see. Anyway, so that's that. So let's look at baseball from yesterday. So I try to help with everything. All right, 4708, 8008. Okay, we're holding up nicely. Let's go to NBA because I got it open. So NBA yesterday, I played Cleveland plus 3.5. I don't have any numbers, so I don't think I bet these. Normally, I put numbers next to it. Tell you this Yahoo is very slow. Okay. Detroit wins 107-97, which is a surprise. I thought Cleveland was better. So they lose with the 3.5. They were down 1-0. Now I love Cleveland in game 3, which will be tomorrow. And Oklahoma, 125-107. They get a 232. I didn't want to lay 15. They won by 18. Yeah, they win by 18. So again, it's hard to lay the 15, especially when the Lakers needed it. So I went under 210. So I lost both the games, but I didn't really bet them. I don't see the 2 units there. I didn't like them. We'll get more into today. So now let's look at today. 5-8. And we got the Knicks at Philly minus 1.5. Now I'm going to give you the game now, but is Embiid playing? If Embiid plays, we like Philly. Although I like Philly anyway. Minus 1.5. Right now, 2 units. If Embiid plays, it'll be 4 units. They're down 2-0. They have to win. They're at home. They played the Knicks pretty good game 2. So normally what happens in the NBA playoffs, the first game comes and the team blows out. And usually, like Philly was coming off of a game 7 against Boston. And so they were tired and not emotional. They lose game 1, and now they get focused for game 2. Now, here they go in game 3. This Embiid, I've never seen a guy so injured as this guy. He's always injured. What the fuck? So Philly minus 1.5. They have to win. They're down 2-0. They go down 3-0. The series is over. Will they win? I don't know, but you got to bet it like that. You've got to understand psychologically they have to win, and the Knicks are up 2-0. And look what Philly did against Boston when they needed to win. They won 3 in a row. So, okay, so Philly's pretty tough. Then we got San Antonio, Minnesota. Apparently, Anthony Davis did play in game 2, and he played like shit off the bench. San Antonio defensively, series is tied at 1. I like San Antonio minus the 4.5, and I'll go 2 units on that. As long as you have Winnebago playing, you have the best player probably in the league, and he's a shot blocker, and he makes them all shoot threes. And Minnesota got that first win, but I'll be shocked if San Antonio loses. Now, if they lose, we're going to hit them hard game 4. But right now it's 1-1, and San Antonio, I think, figured them out, and look for San Antonio to roll here. You really don't want to bet against teams like Oklahoma and San Antonio. So those are today's. Take Philly down 0-2, have to win. San Antonio 1-1 should have a good game. Let's go to baseball. So baseball, there's 3 streaks. The Cubs and Tampa are on big winning streaks, and Cincinnati's on a big losing streak. So that means taking the Cubs, taking Tampa, and taking Houston because they're playing Cincinnati. So let's look at the scores yesterday and what happened. So we start off with the Cubs on the big winning streak, and the Cubs win 8-3 against Cincinnati. not a problem. There's a W, 3 units. Tampa Bay on their winning streak. We bet Tampa, and Tampa wins 8-4 over Boston. Another 3-unit play. So we're up 6 units. We then play the Mets because I believe Colorado was on a losing streak. Colorado wins 6-2. We really can't trust the Mets. They're not a good team. They're 14-23. So we got to be careful there. So we lose 2 units on the Mets. We had Kansas City with Seth Lugo and KC. KC loses to Cleveland 8-5. So you got to be careful. Cleveland, a pretty good team. So we lose KC 2 units. So notice we hit the 2 3-unit games. We lose the 2 2-unit games. Then we have Pittsburgh going, and they win 4-2. That was 2 units. And then we have Philly over 9. Even though they lose 12-1. And that's the basis of it. Both pitchers suck. So we go over, and they get to 13. So we go 1, 2, 4, and 2. But more importantly, the 4 teams in the 2 units split. We lose 2, we win 2. But the key was hitting the Cubs in Tampa on the streaks, 3 units apiece. Probably should be 5 units apiece. Anyway, so we make 6 units on those 2. Now we get to today's games. And then I said the only streaks are the Cubbies, Tampa Bay, and bet against Cincinnati. So I've already got the Cubs, Tampa, and Houston on there, but let's see. We got to go to the pitching. All right. So we start off with Houston, Cincinnati. Burrows with the 6.08 against Nick Lodolo, who hasn't pitched this year. He did pitch a lot last year. I remember the name. He was like a 4 ERA. But again, since Cincinnati's not playing well, now I don't love Houston with Burrows with the 6.08 ERA. Normally, I would be betting probably the over here. But because they're on the losing streak, we can only lose like we had the Yankees, and then they lost, and we're done with them. We had KC, and they lost, and we're done with them. And so we go Houston here until Cincinnati wins, and you can only lose 1. Now, we won it yesterday. Who did they play? I don't remember who. Well, maybe they didn't play. But, again, the Mets and KC, I think Colorado was playing the Mets. So we're betting against Colorado. All right, we're done with that. KC would just bet on Seth Lugo, who lost. But in this case, we can only lose 1 bet. I'm going to make this a 2-unit play because I don't like the pitcher. But Cincinnati's on like a 6-game losing streak or maybe more. So I'm going to go Cubs 4 units, Tampa 4 units, Houston 2 units. So again, Burrow, Lodolo, really doesn't matter. Cincinnati is on a losing streak, and we're just going to keep betting against them. That's how you do the streaks until they win. Now, Colorado, Philly, nobody's on a streak. Now we analyze the pitching. Philly, minus 209, 7.5. We got Dolander for Colorado. Never heard of him against Lizardo with the 5.17 ERA. Something doesn't add up here. Chase Dollander looks like a bullpen guy. He's pitched a lot. 4 innings, 1 inning, 5 innings, 6, 7, 5. He's given up 4 runs in 4 innings, 6 runs in 6 innings. And then he's had 1 run in 4 innings and a shutout for 7 and 1 run in 6. So he's had some very bad outings. And then Luzardo with the 5.17 for Philly. So this is going to be Philly over 7.5 in a game that makes no sense. There's no sense here. Why is this 7.5 when you got a 5.17 ERA against, well, Dollander doesn't have a 0. He gave up 5 and 6 runs and a few outings, and he had a few scoreless outings, but he only goes 4 innings. So you're going to get a lot of bullpen here, and their bullpen's pretty good, but I think it depends what the score is. But Philly at home, I can't bet Luzardio at the 5.17, so the over 7.5 seems ridiculously low. So we're going to go over. We don't really have you don't have Scanes on the mound where it's going to be a 1-0 game. Oakland goes to Baltimore. We got Baltimore minus 139.5. We got Lopez for Oakland, 6.52 against Bradish, 5.03. We're going to go over here. Baltimore, I think we had it over yesterday, or no, maybe I had Oakland over. Yeah, I had Oakland, Philly, I think, and that went way over 9. They scored like 15 runs, so I'm going to go over here. Baltimore over 9.5. I'll keep it at 2 units. But Oakland can hit, Baltimore can hit, and both pitchers. They got a 6.5 and a 5. So I don't have pitching, so we should get 10 runs. Shouldn't be that difficult. But this is where baseball gets funny. It's averages, and then you have the guy with the 6.52 ERA, and he throws a 2-hit, gives up 1 run with 3 hits in 6 innings, and you're scratching your head going, what the fuck? That's where the matchup comes in. Can Baltimore hit this guy? Can Oakland hit their guy? So even though against other teams, he's got a 6.52 ERA, how is he going to do against this lineup? Can they hit him or not? And that's where it gets tricky. But just looking at the average, this is an over game. So we're going to go over. But 2 units, we're not going to get crazy. California goes to Toronto. Toronto with a 152 total 7.5. So minus 152 for Toronto. We got Detmers, 4.28, going against my man Dylan Cease with a 3.08. So we're going to take Dylan, although he's been erratic, and minus 152. We'll just go 2 units. Again, what we get a Dylan Cease, when we get a Ric Flair, when we get Scanes, you got to bet the pitcher, and you're going to win 8 out of 10 with them. So you just keep taking them. Toronto, they're 10-8 at home, and California 7-13 on the road. I think Toronto gets the win with Dylan Cease. I think he'll pitch better at home. We'll see. Tampa Bay goes to Boston. We got Sholins with the 9 ERA for Tampa, and Early with the 3.86 for Boston. Boston's 130, so we're going to take Tampa plus 120. And this is where we hope the average goes good for us. Tampa's on a big win streak, 6 or 7 games, so this guy's obviously pitched, and they won. And Early, Boston's a real bad team. So even though Early's got a 3.86, he can give up 6 runs. So I'm not going to go over. The bet is taking Tampa on the win streak, and Boston's really not that good. Boston's 16-22. They're 6-11 at home. They don't hit. And Tampa's 25-12. So not that matters, because the pitchers is all. We're getting the Tampa team with Skolins versus their other pitchers, and we're getting the Boston team with Early and not Ranger Suarez. Ranger Suarez is going to put a little damper on this streak, but at this point we got Early. So we're taking Tampa, and we're going 4 units, and we will go there. Washington, Miami. We've got Miami is a minus 135 and 8.5. Snelling a 0. What is this? Is this first time pitching? Yeah, he hasn't pitched before. He's going against Griffin for Washington, a 2.31 ERA. Miami's a 135 favorite, 8.5. I'm still trying to learn, can they hit or not, each team. I'll look at the box score tonight and try to get a definitive Washington can hit or they can't hit. Like, I know Texas normally doesn't hit, but even there, they'll get 8 runs on you. Even though they can't hit, it's the pitcher, and the pitcher in this case is Griffin. I don't expect Miami to hit, although Miami's got hitters, and Snelling is a lefty with a 0, and I don't know what that. So let's watch this game, and we will educate ourselves. Minnesota and Cleveland. Cleveland minus 141, 7.5. We got Prelip for Minnesota, 386 against Messick for Cleveland, 241. I'm not going to go under, but it sounds like a Cleveland thing. But I don't want to get too excited about Messick, who I don't know anything about, but he's got a 2.41 ERA. So I'm going to watch this game, but I'm just going to say Cleveland here. But I'm not betting it. But just because it's Messick, Prelip, I don't know. Cleveland seems to have the good pitching and the good defense. Minnesota, occasionally they'll score 10 runs and they get shut out. Cleveland is tough at home, so I'm not going to fuck it. If I just look at it, Minnesota's 6-12 on the road, so this would be a Cleveland bet, but nobody's streaking, so I'm not going to touch it. Seattle goes to the White Sox. The White Sox aren't bad this year. Seattle 128-8. They get that one hitter, Matsumumo, who has 14 home runs, the White Sox. Hancock for Seattle, 263 against Burke, 381. Another game that I might take Seattle on. Both teams are kind of weak, but we're going to let this go. Seattle minus 128, total of 8. I got a 263 and a 381 pitcher. This could go 3-0. It could go 10-6. So I'm going to let it go. Detroit goes to KC. KC minus 137, 8.5. Montero 3.55 ERA. He's been pitching better against Bubik, who's got a 3.38 ERA. Detroit is terrible. They really have no offense. I've never seen a team go up to draw walks. What kind of team is this? Dingler, Spencer Torkelson. He's always looking for a walk. If the pitch is close, they're taking the pitch. You never take a pitch. First thing I learned in Little League, if the pitch is close, swing at it. You don't want to strike out looking at it. You at least want to swing at it. It's baseball. He'll strike out looking at pitches night and day because they're trying to build a pitch count. And this new guy, Mechanical, wants to do it too. He wants to get 12 pitch at bats. So Bubik's not great, 3.38. And Detroit won't be able to steal signs because the game's on the road at KC. But I don't know what it is. It's probably an under, but I'm going to stay away from this. I'm just going to write it down. Detroit under 8.5. I'm not going to bet it. No bet. Just because they can't hit. Their hitting's terrible. They've lost their best hitter, the second baseman, whatever his name is. He's hurt. Happy Baez is hurt. What an idiot. He, instead of sliding into first base, he kind of sticks his foot into first base in the really hard bases. And I don't know if he broke his ankle or what. What is he doing? The pitch, the throw to first was a little high, and the guy jumped up and couldn't get out of the way. But what are you doing, man? You just do a head first slide if you're going to slide like that, but just run through the bag. Hello, McFly. So he's out. So they've got a lot of injuries, and they got Scubal's out for the year, and Casey Mize is out. Scubal won't be back because it's going to hurt his contract. So he wants $40 million for 10 years. He ain't getting $30 million for 5 years. Injury prone, doesn't go more than 6 innings. I told him not to play him, to rest him, because if he gets injured, you're fucked. So now he's injured. He'll be out May, June, and July easily, and they'll probably be so far back they just probably won't play him. You can't trade him at the trade deadline because he's injured. You just fucked yourself. So you're not going to be able to trade him, so he's going to be free agent. You won't play the rest of the year for fear of injuring the elbow again and trying to find a 1-year contract at $10 million. If you're going to trade somebody and you're going to trade him, you don't play him because he's going to get injured, which is exactly what happened. And he gets injured because they all try to throw 100 miles an hour for some reason. A regular Greg Maddox did not throw 100 miles an hour. He was pretty good. Yeah, Nolan Ryan did, but he could do it. But Frank Tanana threw his arm out for Texas, went to the Tigers and threw a bunch of curveballs and screwballs, and he was very effective. So you don't need to throw 100 miles an hour to be effective. You just need to change speeds and locations. And this is where analytics is fucking up. Everybody's trying to throw 100 miles an hour. Not like you can't hit 100-mile-an-hour pitching. You're hitting 97. There's no difference between 97 and 100. Somebody asked me, well, could you hit it? And I go, yeah, it's just timing it. It's just swing a little earlier, but if the pitch is over the plate and you swing at the ball, you're going to hit it. It doesn't matter if it's 50 miles an hour or 100 miles an hour. You have to time it. I remember I was in Little League, quick Little League story. And so I'm 12 years old, and we're playing at this very small ballpark, and I'm salivating because I can hit the ball a long way even back then. And the pitcher, I don't know what the speed was, but most pitchers were pretty decent coming in. Let's say they pitched 50 miles an hour as kids, right? You're talking 11, 12-year-olds. Let's say 55, let's say. And this kid came out and he threw like 30 miles an hour. And so everybody was swinging early because we're used to 50-mile-an-hour pitching. And I didn't hit a home run. I was shocked because the pitching was 30 miles. It was 30 miles an hour, and I didn't know enough at the time to wait on it. So I just, as he's pitching, it's coming, I'm swinging, and I'm 3 minutes early. And then I learned to wait for the pitch, just wait till when it's here, then swing at it. So I could have hit like 3-4 home runs, and there was like a 200-foot ballpark with a fence. I would have hit a home run every time up, and I was just kind of pissed. But it's about the change in the speed. There was no location; he just threw it over, and it was not about. It was not about how fast he threw. Actually, it was how slow he threw. It was fucking your timing up, and that's what these guys are missing. Oh, everybody needs to throw 100. Meanwhile, every team's got all these injuries to their pitchers, which are minor leaguers at best, most of them anyway. Now, notice in the Tiger game, Framber Valdez gives up back-to-back home runs, and what does he do? He beans the next guy. Why aren't you beaning Shotani? I don't understand that. Beat him. Make them think, hey, we're not going to let you just sit here and hit home runs. No, you're gonna get hit. And I'd be throwing behind him. I'd be throwing at his head. I don't care. Okay, I'm out for 5 games. Fine. But he got beaned. Now he's going to think when he gets into the batter's box. That's what I want. You can't let somebody just hit these home runs. Jordan would come into the lane, and the Pistons would nail him. Rodman and Isaiah, they wouldn't let him just come into the lane. Look at Bird. Lambert would knock Bird down. You got to get him thinking. You can't just let him lay the ball up. I'm surprised nobody's knocked LeBron James on his ass. So it's really stupid. You got to be physical, and the NBA kind of took that out, and they're playing patty cake. And baseball, oh, he's fine for throwing at the guy. It's like, yeah, and what kills me, he's out 6 games. Well, he only pitches every 5th day, so he's going to miss 1 start. He should be out for 6 starts, not for 6 games. Anyway, that's the point. So you just change speeds. It doesn't have to be 100 miles an hour. It can be 88, and then you throw 95, and then you throw 82, and then you throw 97. They're not going to hit you with that. So anyway, Detroit under, but I'm not betting it. Okay, the Yankees in Milwaukee. We got our friend Max Fried going. The Yankees 124, 7.5. Fried 242. Mizorowski 284, who's supposed to be a really good pitcher. Here we got a bet. New York Yankees under 7.5, and we're going to go 2 units. This Mizorowski's supposed to be like very, very good, and we know Max Fried's very, very good. So here's our bet. And the Yankees aren't really hitting much. Milwaukee, I don't know. So we're going under with this one. This is what you want to go under. 2 guys you kind of know, and off you go. The Cubbies, okay. Minus 130 and 8.5. Brown with an 0.00 against Rocker 482. We're taking the Cubbies minus 130. I don't care who their pitcher is. Rocker with the 482. This is probably a lock. Take the Cubbies, lay 4, lay 5, lay what you want. this is the game. Texas doesn't hit. The Cubbies on a, I think, 7-8 game win streak. Here's when you bomb on the Cubbies. Tampa, we got a pitching problem, but that'll be okay. Houston, we haven't gotten to yet. Let's see that. So this is the lock of the day. Take the Cubs, 4 units, and you're only laying 130. The Mets in Arizona. The Mets are really disappointing lately. They're minus 123 and 8 at Arizona. Surprise. McLean for the Mets, 3.0 ERA against Nelson, 6.68. I can't even tell you to bet the over in the game because the Mets don't hit. They got Lindor and they got Bo Bichette, and they got rid of their power hitter, the first baseman, the lefty. I can't think of his name. So you're looking at Arizona. Can't trust them with the 6.68 pitcher. Probably go over. I'm just gonna pencil in the Mets over, but I'm not playing them. Again, this is where we're reaching the next level of handicapping. We're like, I don't trust this. I'm not gonna play. So you see me on 5-6. I played like 15 games, and we're plus 5 units, right? Yesterday was fewer games. Today I'm finding a few. I'm taking the streaks, but I'm not there yet. We haven't gotten to Houston yet, I don't think. Do we not play Houston? Where's Houston? Oh, Houston was playing Cincinnati. Okay. Houston, Burrow, 608, Lodolo. Oh, yeah, that was the first one I did. Cincinnati minus 131. So we're going to take Houston. It's going to be plus 121 because Cincinnati's on a 9-game losing streak. Okay. So we're taking Houston against Cincinnati. All right. The Cubs and the Tampa are on the streaks, on the winning streaks. We're taking them. All right. So the Mets, St. Louis and San Diego played like a 1-0 game yesterday. St. Louis, I think, won. We got San Diego minus 143 and 8. We got Ganning with the 1.80, and he's pitched a lot against McGreevy with the 2.54 ERA. So we're going to go under here. Under 8. We'll go 2 units. I can't take St. Louis because Ganning's got a 1.80 ERA, and he has pitched a few games. So we'll just go with that. We'll go low scoring. It was low scoring yesterday. Atlanta goes to the Dodgers. Oh, well, we found another game. Atlanta, the Dodgers somehow are minus 114. Does this make sense to anybody? And you'll know in a minute. It's the Dodgers minus 114 and 8. We have Chris Sale going for Atlanta with his 2.14 ERA against Sheehan with a 5.23 ERA for the Dodgers. Can anybody explain why the Dodgers are favored here? Chris Sale with a 2.14 going against the 5.23. All right, we're taking Atlanta. We got 105. This is like a gift. We're going to go 3 units. I don't like betting against the Dodgers. They're not going to hit Chris Sale. And Atlanta's got hitting, and they will kill this Sheehan. I'll be shocked if Atlanta loses. We got Chris Sale, so 3 units. So we bet on Chris Sale, and the other, the Yankees, it's Fried against this Mizorowski, 2 aces going, so we're going under. So here's where the pitching comes into play. The Tampa and the Cubs, you just kind of go, well, maybe he'll get hot and pitch well, but they're on win streak, so they're hitting, and let's see what happens. But in these games, it's definitely we've got the ace pitcher going. So we're taking you got the ace against the fourth pitcher with the 5.23, and Atlanta can hit a lot of hitting. Pittsburgh against the 49ers. The 40, it's like even. Pittsburgh 49ers 105, 7.5. We got Mlodzinski for Pittsburgh, 5.79 ERA against Robbie Ray. Used to play in the Tigers with a 3 ERA. Pittsburgh can hit. I'm going to go Pitt, and we're going to go over 7.5. We'll go 2 units. The Niners should hit Mlodowski with the 5.79, and Pitt will hit Robbie Ray with the 3.0. Pitt has good hitting, 5 or 6 hitters. So this is why is the over 7.5? Doesn't make sense. So we will go with that. So recap: Cubs on a big winning streak, 4 units. Tampa Bay on a big winning streak as a dog, 4 units. Houston, we're playing against Cincinnati on a big losing streak, so we're going to take Houston. Philly over 7.5, two junk pitchers. Baltimore over 9.5, two junk pitchers. We like Cleveland, but we're not betting them. Detroit under because they stink, but we're not betting them. The Yankees under 7.5. Freed against Mendowski. Ace against Ace, so we're going to go under. We like the Mets over 8.5, but we're not betting it. We don't know who they are. They're not hitting. You got Lindor and Bo Bichette, and you're not hitting. We got St. Louis under 8. Good pitching. We got Atlanta plus 105 against the Dodgers. Chris Sale against some pig. We're taking Chris Sale, and Pittsburgh over 7.5, 2 units. And we're gonna go Pittsburgh over. Again, pretty weak pitching in that Pitt game. 5.79 against a 3. Pitt can hit, so 7.5 is very low. I think the average is like 8 or 9 runs, somewhere in that. You see a lot of 5-3 games, 6-2 games, I'm noticing, or they get to 9. Once in a while, you get that 15, 16 run game. And a lot of times you get that 1-0, 2-1, 4-0 game, and you're scratching your head because the pitcher doesn't warrant the shutout. The Tigers got shut out by Boston, and the pitcher did not warrant the Tigers to get shut out 4-0. This was a couple days ago at home, and they couldn't hit. Tigers, they stink. They're not good. They are trying to get walks, and a walk is not as good as a hit. A walk's as good as a hit when you got nobody on and you're trying to get base runners. But when you got a guy on second and third, or a guy at first and second, a walk is not as good as a hit. You need the hit. And you got walkers up there. Torkelson, he's trying to get 4 walks a game. He hits 210. So that's why you can see why he wants to walk. And then he's going to say, look at my OPS. I get on base a lot. How many RBIs you got? 5 for the year? Do you have 6? He's got like 5 home runs, 5 RBIs because they're always solo. They're always meaningless. So he gets hot because the pitchers throw the ball down the middle because the depth of pitching in baseball is horrible. All right, so that's baseball. That's basketball. I think soon I'm going to start putting the baseball on Teaser King. And it's nice hearing from Daria now. It just feels right. When you don't hear from her, you're like, I need that charge. It's weird how the human psychic is. Anyway, so that's baseball, football, basketball. We got Philadelphia down 2-0 at home. If Embiid plays, this will be 3 units. Without him, it'll be 2 units. They still played well. Embiid, I've never seen a guy hurt as much. This is bothering him, that's bothering him. The guy's just a wimp. I'm sorry, for all the talent he has, I've never seen a guy so injured and he can't play through pain. What a crybaby. This is the playoffs. Isaiah played with a broken foot. Please. He got 30 points in the third quarter and he couldn't walk. And then he played in the fourth quarter. He played in game 7 against the Lakers and Magic. So don't tell me, oh, my knee's sore. Oh, my God. They're a bunch of babies now. And the last bet is the San Antonio minus 4.5. Winnebago's playing, so I like them. Both will be 2 units. Again, Philly must win. They go down 3-0, they're done. I don't know how good the Knicks are, and maybe I'm making a mistake betting against them. But Philly beat Boston, who I thought was a good team, who realized they stunk. They just shoot 3-point shots. The teams you want to bet on are the teams that drive the hoop and get the foul and get the dunks and play the aggressive defense, not the teams that stand around at the 3-point line to make those teams will always lose. You need guys that drive. You need the easy baskets. You need to get fouled so they stop the runs, right? You're down 10 points. You drive the hoop, you get fouled, you make free throws. That's what you do. I mean, that's what Bird would do. That's what Magic would do. That's what Jordan. That's why you never took a big run against them. Or the Lakers would get the ball to Kareem and boom, there's a sky hook. That's why it's so funny that nobody sky hooks. Nobody, the big guys aren't close to the hoop. They're all shooting 3-pointers. I don't want Winnebago to shoot a 3-pointer or Luca Brasi or this guy Jokic or all these guys. They're 7-footers. They should be dominating down low, not 30 feet away from the basket. Basketball is so bad right now. Some guy was talking in the locker room. He says, well, it's because of Steph Curry. Yeah, but none of these teams have Steph Curry. So Steph Curry can make jump shots, okay, but nobody else can shoot like him. So why are you copying him, trying to be Steph Curry and try to shoot 3-point shots? It's crazy. All right, let's see if we got anything in football. Let's see. Anything going on in our favorite sport? We're in May. We're getting close to July and training camp. Let's see. NFL news. Fantasy football video. Can Titans Cam Ward take a Drake May? Drake May's not that good. Cam Ward sucks. Another one that should never have been drafted number one, just like Mendoza should never have been drafted number one. Much like Fields and all these guys, the GMs just don't know talent. It's analytics. Oh, they can move around in the pocket. But then when you got Daggio Papa, well, he moves around in the pocket too much. He's too small. He's as big as Kyler Murray and this Ward and these others. Does it matter the 2 or 3 inches? Absolutely not. 26 NFL schedule release, everything you need to know as league. Has it been released and do we give a shit? No, we don't care. We know the Lions will be playing Green Bay, Minnesota, and the Bears twice. That's 6 losses. That's all we need to know. Vikings reportedly signed former wide receiver Juan Jennings to a 1-year. Who cares? Veteran quarterback Tyler Hennigley announces his retirement. I didn't know he was playing. He was a nobody. He should never have played football. He's terrible. Netflix will reportedly broadcast Week 1 49er Ram game in Australia. Who gives a fuck? Why would they play it? How are they going to play it in Australia? It's a 12-hour or 24-hour time difference. So when are you going to play the game? And good luck on the flight to Australia. It's a long flight. You're going to tire your players out. What are you doing? It's like, why don't you go play in India, where it's like a 24-hour flight? I mean, what are they doing? Well, what people in Australia care? They're all broke in Australia. They're not, the only people that are going to the game are the ones they're handing tickets out to. And I don't understand the point of it. And I don't give a fuck that Netflix will broadcast the game. I don't care. What 5 players must do to go from inconsistent rookies to good players, fantasy football? We don't give a fuck. Travis Kelce told Chiefs GM after week 18, let's plan on me being here because I really suck. And if I can make money doing it, great. Aaron Rodgers is expected to visit with Steelers and will likely play for the team. If he shows up, he shows up. If he doesn't, he doesn't. If he looked fine last year, he's not their problem. Why Commanders rookie Antonio Williams can help. This is the guy from what? Clemson? He sucks. What should we make of the Giants offseason? A lot of good trade, a lot of good drafts for positions they need. The question is, are these players any good? And probably was the worst draft. You still got Jackson Darty stinks, Scatterboo, who's a very good running back. Russell Wilson says he's debating between signing with the Jets and whatever else. Good luck. He's not bad. I don't know what the problem is. Why the Giants just let him go for Dart? That was a big mistake. But yeah, he'd be good on the Jets to give him a quarterback. NFL referees reportedly schedules to vote to ratify the new CBA. These guys should all be fired. The worst refs I've ever seen, except for basketball and baseball. NFL best available free agents: Stephon Diggs and Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill's a free agent. Wow. Giants DJ Reader reportedly agreed to 2-year, $12 million deal. Chiefs GM says Patrick Mahomes is way ahead of schedule. He's a very quick healer, Mahomes. He's the man. He plays to win. That's why we bet him. Dante Fowler, former number 3 overall draft pick, signs another bust that they got. Quarterback Brendan Sorsby's potential NFL path likely depends on. He was on Cincinnati last year. He's an average quarterback. They're making too much out of him. Anthony Richardson reports the Colts voluntary workouts. I didn't think they had him on the team anymore. 26 NFL betting odds. Jeremiah Love for Fernando. Who cares? Only suckers would bet like who's going to win what MVP or Rookie of the Year, whatever. Jeremiah Love will not win. He's not a good running back. Yeah, he's good when you play Army and Navy, and unless Jeremiah Love's going to play Army, Navy, or Stanford, he's not going to do anything. See, this is the thing that they don't analyze. In other words, who did he do it against? We saw him against Miami, 10 rushes, 30 yards. That's who Jeremiah Love is, not the guy who got all these yards against Army, Navy, and Stanford. Yet that's what they look at. There's always these quarterbacks that light it up against New Mexico State and East Tennessee and Nevada at Reno, and then they build up their stat. Then they play Alabama and Georgia. They get 5 yards and 5 picks, and that's the real quarterback. Why Ty Simpson's first 2 months at the Rams will be important. No, they won't be important. He sucks. He's not going to get any better. He's the worst first-round pick in the world. What are they thinking? It's beyond me. Drake May shows support for Vrabel. Well, of course, because Vrabel's playing him. Cowboys George Pickens signs franchise tag, will be guaranteed. So you got him and CeeDee Lamb. If only they had a quarterback. Texans Pro Bowl Shazier agrees to a 3-year contract. That's good. I like Houston's defense. I don't like their coach, and I don't like the quarterback. I think he stinks. Rob Gronkowski to be inducted in the Pats Hall of Fame. Who cares? With the stellar quarterback draft class in 2027 coming, who is that? Oh, Arch Manning. Oh, really? Stellar class. Let's see if they list the stellar class, who is bullshit. Will we see an NBA level tanking? Okay, the NBA doesn't tank. They have no good teams. The players suck. So who are these quarterbacks supposedly there? If you didn't draft Dagi Opava, I don't want to hear it. They're worried about tanking. So who are these quarterbacks that Arch Manning sucks? Okay. Well, it doesn't show these quarterbacks who they're looking at. They keep comparing it to the NBA. They're not tanking. The teams suck. The players suck. So I don't know who these quarterbacks they're saying is there, but if they're relying on Arch Manning, they're totally fucked. Let's see the NBA today. Amazon, it's on Amazon. So they're not on TV for some strange reason. And baseball, are any of these games on TV? No, NBC. The Rockies at Philly at 6:40 are on NBC. Strange time. Something doesn't make sense. And then Oakland at Baltimore is on NBC at 7:05. That doesn't make sense. So I would assume none of these games are on TV. Probably NBC Sports. All right, let's go to the mark of McGuire's. And let's go here to get to our meat and potatoes.
And you were talking about the COMEX is becoming less and less relevant as an actual price setter. To help ask us here, we've got a lot of questions coming in here, but to help answer some fresh subscriber questions, what are you seeing both in the short term as well from a macro perspective?
To be with everyone. Thanks, Shane, for getting the questions organized. Yes, I guess what we've been really trying to draw attention to is the final exit of the large gold and silver traders and investors who've ditched their LBMA COMEX derivative gold and silver positions completely into physical gold and silver exchanges. This is a huge dynamic shift. And this includes the producers, the refiners, the institutional hedgers that absolutely require a real supply-demand price to function correctly. And while we've tracked the COMEX open interest evaporating into historical all-time low participations, we showed the charts of that. That's continued since then. This exodus has largely gone unnoticed because into the LBMA CME, that side of the paper to physical unwind process, that's 100%, 100 to 1. That's 100 ounces of paper gold to 1 leveraged. And then, of course, and it's also designed for cash settlements, not for delivery. Whereas the unleveraged, what it sort of meets up against is the unleveraged 100% physically backed. And that's the SGE governed exchanges, strictly physical. You have to have physical bars to offer it for sale. You have to have a physical bar to take delivery. And that's where the real money now operates, understandably. And it requires a real-time supply-demand deliverable price to actually benchmark for it to operate. Now, that sounds novel. That should have been in place for the last 50 years, but not so. The COMEX was never designed to really provide any form of delivery. It was just never going to be deliverable. And while we've reached the absolute inflection point where it's lost its actual dominance, it's now in the hands of the wrong at both ends, momentum-driven speculators. So you say, look at all this volatility. That's the momentums. The only people left holding that bag are the momentums, but they control 80% of all the open interest that remains. And because of the leveraged, obviously that causes overshoots, both on the upside and the downside. Whereas they've overcooked the upside in January. Now they've overcooked the downside, and they've been caught naked short. It happens on a regular basis. They're wrong at both ends. And as we looked at last episode, illustrating how under the war fog, this paper to physical unwind process has accelerated and is well underway. And in order to review this, we need to first look at the macro view. Now, during my last Live from the Vault Sirius London Pool interview, we reviewed the transition process of how the waning Western debt-based dollar-funded unipolarity is being absorbed by an expanding gold-anchored multipolar world. Now, whereas a debt-riddled unipolar dollar can only be exchanged for unallocated, undeliverable, cash-settled fiat gold in the Western foreign exchange markets, the Chinese yuan is directly exchangeable for physical gold. This is so underappreciated. Having gained sufficient liquidity for gold to be physically benchmarked in growing number of Western accessible free trade zone multipolar facing gold corridors, into which the yuan can be freely exchanged for physical gold, it's this all-important differentiator that absolutely guarantees the demise of unipolarity and the dollar. At the direct expense of the LBMA and the COMEX exchanges, China has accrued sufficient physical market liquidity to really benchmark a real-time, competing, self-arbitraging, fungible, global, and sanction-proof deliverable gold price, unaffected by any of that kind of stuff, for a T+0, a today settlement in any size you want. Contrast that against the less than 1% of LBMA deliverable gold that's netted out of hundreds of tons of cash settled gold traded every day. And is it any wonder the cartel run COMEX is being drained of enough participants to avert what would be an inevitable delivery default? Or the other choice.
Okay, so why is it still fucked? Oh, because these guys control 80% of COMEX. Why are we still looking at them? And then China, well, it's physical. You got to buy it with physical, but we're not getting a physical price. We're still getting a COMEX price plus, silver plus $10, and gold, it's whatever the COMEX price is. So I don't know what he's talking about. We're not getting a physical price, because it wouldn't be the same as the paper price. There's far less supply, and we're not getting it. So both of those. Now, why are these 80% guys who control the gold in COMEX, which is JP Morgan, Chase, Wells Fargo, and Bank of America, why are they still controlling the price? Why is anybody using it? There's no physical in there. Why is this the price point? This is what the questions have always been. Why are they controlling it? And that's really what we want to know, is when does that blow up? That's what I asked them. So we will see. Yes, the yuan to gold convertibility. So it is now gold back, the yuan and the ruble and BRICS. So they are on the gold standard, but we're not getting, but for some reason, COMEX is still controlling the price. It's not on the gold standard. So nothing makes sense here at all.
To bend the knee to China's physical market liquidity, that would mean raising margins to 100% and become physically deliverable. That seems implausible. What used to be inaccessible to all but the central bank, sovereigns, and the insiders, the SGE Real Asset Gold Settlement Corridor is now fully accessible to a full array of institutional, global traders, family offices, investors who constitute the cartel escapees who've been we've been drawing attention to these big players just exiting, who from time to time they move to arbitrage and take delivery of underpriced COMEX open interest. If you've played in that sandpit, then you know the game. And you will then know that if you're a physical market, you're going to see opportunities for underpriced COMEX LBMA COMEX gold. Well, LBMA unallocated, you start to play games with the bilaterally settled, so they'll pump up the price and essentially make sure that any deliveries are actually within a lot higher than is quoted. But but COMEX open interest, when you go into first notice, you can have that. So while they come after, have learned to capitalize on those deliverable opportunities into first notice day. These guys are never going to return to play in that nest of vipers sandpit, and facilitated by the 100% physically backed SGE gold corridor, the Chinese yuan and the Russian ruble trade on really essentially Basel III and SFR compliant, a gold standard blockchain that's interchangeable with any other NSFR compliant trading rail. So that's a huge thing. Both currencies are one-to-one backed by physical gold. And here's the point: they can be tokenized, held, collateralized, or exchanged at par for physical gold, illustrating China's mandate to internationalize the yuan. African nations are undertaking currency swaps into the yuan right now. I think I just saw Bloomberg today, Mozambique being the next African nation to convert 1.848 billion of its dollar debt into RMB that it owes China. The US-Iran war has accelerated this process significantly. And China's cross-border payment system, the CIPS, already interconnects a rapidly expanding over 5,000 banking. I'm looking here. It's over 5,000 institutions now that it interacts with, and growing every day. Even before the Iran war drove what is as the war broke out, the race to exit traditional trading hubs extended all the way into the UAE and Dubai. And there was such a race to move physical gold into Hong Kong and Singapore, it was offered actually at a discount. Those hubs have now also bent the knee to China. And while the Dubai hub will be active once insurance companies lower their risk costs, because insurance companies were very unhappy about insuring this gold, and there was a race to get it out, the immediacy of storing and trading into a connected and growing liquid free trade zone, connected gold, silver, and real asset corridor, will see these hubs expand. And why wouldn't it? And it's just so usable. Looking at the expanded macro view, so into a ramp up of the de-dollarizing to gold transition process, foreign central banks have really slashed their holdings of treasuries to the lowest level since 2012. By the end of March, foreign central banks' US treasury holdings are now 500 billion below 2021 levels and 200 billion below 2012 levels. Ask yourself this: where is this first-tier assets? Where are they migrating to? We know, don't we? And Fed published data verifies the value of treasuries held in custody at the New York Fed by official institutions has dropped by 82 billion to just 2.7 trillion over the last 12 months. Message is clear. These US treasury sell-offs ramped up over the last month and are forecast to accelerate as soon as the Iran war volatility fully subsides. Now, because gold and silver trade as a currency cross against the dollar, so buying one side of the cross sells the other, so when everyone piles into the dollar to balance off a series of war-driven spikes in oil prices, under the plain vanilla bearish skew, it creates opportunities for central banks to de-dollarize at a much more favorable rate. Net of what the Wall Street cheerleaders are screaming about, they're saying that gold isn't a good hedge. That's what's really been happening here, is that's why the mechanical dislocation between one and the other is starting to evaporate.
All right, Andrew, and following the UK, European, and the Chinese holidays, can you take a look at the current short-term footprints that you're seeing now?
Yeah, Shane, and they kind of back up what we're evidencing from a macro level. So sometimes it's important to drill down into the footprints. I'm recording this episode on Wednesday between the AM and the PM fix, ahead of the PM fix. This is for release tomorrow. So, look, and as we pick up the action that followed yesterday's announcement that the offensive operation against Iran is likely over, in fact, that was announced around just after the PM fix. And in fact, gold and silver barely reacted, with both gold and silver futures closing close to the day's lows, as can be seen here in gold and in silver, similarly in silver. So what happened? It was really as expected. As soon as China's physical market liquidity returned this morning following its Labor Day holiday, and we see in silver and in gold, what happened? A rally occurred. Basically, because China's physical market liquidity returned and pent-up gold and silver buying returned in size, with Asia taking everything put on offer into their absence. In fact, Shanghai spot gold premium this morning was averaging $17 over local London spot, and in silver, it's been averaging, in fact, right now it's averaging $10.81 above London spot. So, that's put silver in the $87 range right now. Now, assisted by the perception a peace deal may be struck, goalposts are still changing, as can be seen following Trump's latest tweet just a short while ago, where we see an immediate turnaround and we see oil spiking higher, dollar coming back. But essentially, what we're figuring here, we should expect more of this volatility. And while gold and silver commodities and risk markets are in the green, Brent is actually still trading at about 103 right now. And it's pretty clear that Trump would prefer a victory peace deal and a withdrawal. And it's not yet clear that the Iranian regime is on side yet, so tweet-fueled volatility may continue. However, with Asia back in the mix into deeply oversold gold and silver conditions, dips from here on are expected to be jumped on by both physical buyers and the commercials exposed to very large T+1 delivery exposure. And as we were looking at a little while ago, under this derivative-driven volatility, central bank sovereigns are converting dollars to gold. Every single rise in the dollar is being used to do that. So as this conversion, or as it would be more accurate to describe, the paper to physical alchemizing process rolls out, automated inverse unallocated FX gold selling against a rising dollar provides the momentum sell fuel for the downside, which is pretty much what we've been seeing here. And the momentums have been on the downside, pretty much driven by exactly those mechanical correlations. And during the war rollout, that's bearishly influenced the LBMA gold benchmark fixes, which is even what we saw yesterday, even though there was a good news. But it's patently clear to all physical-facing liquidity providers that this paper-to-physical dislocation has been coiling gold for a large upside gap close, what is really going to be a catch-up rally. And with no speculators on board, this rally would have sustainable legs to exceed previous highs. And bear in mind, we have the momentums all on the long side, overcooking this rally. Now they've overcooked it to the downside. And really now we have no speculators on board. We're consolidating from a much, much higher base. And this is likely going to be led by silver, which is also coiled for a rally to all-time highs through.
Okay, so we've got all-time highs, all-time highs, all-time highs. But we're not, like Okay, when? Like, why is it if this is the game, why are they still fucking around? This is what I don't get. Silver coiled for a breakout. All right. Let's see about London silver.
Will and are already happening. One, we've got a massive 13% premium over spot, and it's going to be demanded of you. And or because guess what? That interconnects with the only hedge they've got would be a physical market in Shanghai. So that's going to be the price you will pay. And or the physical order will be point blank refused for delivery. It's a hell of a lot easier to just refuse it. And that's accompanied with a warning that the non-LBMA buyer will be blacklisted by the MPLCL cartel. Now, the other thing is, so failing all of that shenanigans, given the four-member cartel also controls the banking relationships for an albeit dwindling number of Western-facing producers, refiners, over-the-counter trading banks, etc. And as we can personally attest to, after some years ago, we locked in a forward price and a tonnage agreement with a foreign producer. Their LBMA banking relationships immediately picked up that any such direct producer delivery agreement would then be captured because they offer the banking services run through them. They're captive in that sense. And then you would still be issued with a blacklist warning because they would have picked up that you have actually tried to buy directly, avoiding them. So again, that's another blacklisting warning. Now, while this historically worked to silo silver inside this cartel-controlled ring fence, most producers, refiners, and institutional buyers have migrated into the SGE free trade zone corridor, where all the trades are 100% physically backed, deliverable, and settled at a true supply-demand price, which by no coincidence consistently trades at a 13% premium over the COMEX price. Go figure. So this brings us to what is really causing the LPMCL CME cartel to lose control of the real global price setting benchmark. Illustrating the cartel benchmark represents an undeliverable, unbacked cash settled price is the inability for this so-called global silver hub to be able to actually arbitrage the consistent 13% Shanghai spot premium. Why wouldn't you? If you are the global hub for silver, why wouldn't you take that difference? Why wouldn't you arbitrage it? In fact, as of February report, the local London cartel has now entered its fifth year of redundancy as an exporter to China. And this week's update has not gone unnoticed either. So this COMEX doom loop, as we call it, has once more provided all physical market participants an unfettered view into the CME's weak-handed obligation to honor the next in an impossible deliver. Just now, the May delivery that we talked about was coming up for delivery. 792 tons of COMEX May silver deliveries are being stood for at deeply, physically mismatched prices, certainly at least 13% below, and in many cases being captured a hell of a lot lower. Someone has to pick up the tab, and it's not the COMEX buyer standing for delivery. Just follow the trail into the increasingly opaque OCC report for that answer. And once EFP'd out of the COMEX, these silver warrants are reported as, yep, they're delivered, but they land in unallocated form in London. And then in order to fulfill the delivery obligations, you run into all the problems we just talked about. Otherwise, it would blow the COMEX. It would force a COMEX force majeure default. So this unallocated silver must be cash settled at the SGE physically determined benchmark price, where it has to be purchased at market to satisfy physical loadout obligations. And as we've recently outlined, while underpriced COMEX silver is locked in for delivery, due to export controls, first notice warrants being demanded for delivery, command premiums that mirror this 13% SGE physically settled spot price. Go figure. This means that cash settlements are based on an agreed, related, bilaterally settled LBMA physical delivery price, which is currently analyzed. It depends on the lease rate on the day, but averaging 8% is a lot higher in many instances. And today it is. And then you've got to add in your shipping costs and everything. So really you'd say, well, okay, there's still a slim margin. And while these arbitrage margins are very thin, silver is in such short supply, it's being drained into the PBOC coffers. And the LBMA is not getting a piece of the action. Now, given global US export controls have now been implemented, imports into London are being bypassed, forcing very large legacy market leasing costs. But these leveraged borrowings are they have to be then redeemed. They have to be they have to be sold to the market to do so, and ultimately end up flowing into the SGE physical hubs. Whichever way you look at it, it's forcing these borrowed and sold derivative benchmarks to be paid back at sequentially higher and higher prices. This is the doom loop that we keep drawing attention to. Is broken the COMEX gearbox. And with lifeblood liquidity draining out of the West, there's just one viable non-default option, as we say, to allow Western silver prices to rise to meet physically settled supply-demand prices set by institutionals in the global high-quality liquid asset collateralized free trade zone SGE exchanges. That is your only option. There's nothing left. Otherwise, you're going to have, it's running into that situation whether you like it or not. CME
So then why isn't it going up? This is our big question. Oh, okay, there's no more speculators. All the banks are long, da 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 da. It has to go up, but yet the price isn't going up. And that's really why is COMEX still setting the price? And it has to go up, but it isn't going up. Well, it's part of it is because of the oil, and it makes the dollar stronger, which makes gold go down. Why is it related? It has nothing to do with the dollar. The dollar is being printed to zero. Gold is not being printed, and the value has to go up because of demand, and there's very little supply. So that's what we keep hearing. That's why we're excited. Like, okay, gold's finally going to go up. Silver's finally going to go up. And the question is when the fuck is it going up? You've been saying this for 6 months, 9 months. Well, it has to go up. We got the shorts out. We got the speculators. We got this. We got that. Da 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 da. And yet it's still not going up. And this is the problem that he keeps missing. So yes, it has to, but it's not. So I don't know with Mark. So let's see what our gold and silver are doing right now, because they have to go up, but they're not. They keep going down or doing nothing. So we've got silver 80.37, which didn't really go up. And I saw it at 81 earlier when I woke up, and 47.14 was 47.40. Oh, wait, it went down to 47.05, and now it's a little bit of 47.14. And again, it's still the same bullshit. The speculators are the banks. These are the banks holding it down for the Fed. For whatever reason, they want silver and gold down, which makes no sense at this point. If they don't control it, it's all PBOC, which is China, and it's all BRICS. The BRICS is going gold-backed currency. Why the fuck is the price? Now, this will be like oil. Let's take a look at let's take a look at Bitcoin first. Let's see where that's at. Yeah, 79,000, which makes no sense. Why would Bitcoin be gone up from 69 to 79? Let's look at the Dow. And the Dow is at 49,625. This is fake. It's bullshit, which we know. So again, we're getting not a real price in gold and silver. Let's take a look at our oil price. It'll be probably 102, 103. This really makes no sense. 78, 87. This can't be right. It was 100 and something. Yeah, this is Brent's 101 and Texas is 95. So again, that's not right. That's bullshit. They're really like what can you get it for? 150. So the Brent is 101, the West Texas 78, which makes no sense. Here I got 95, but it should be 200. So again, that's being priced. I do know yesterday I saw, so I jumped from $4 to $5, and now I'm starting to see 470, 460. So it is coming down, which should mean gold and silver should be going up because the dollar versus the euro should be coming down, making the gold go up. But we're not really seeing the gold going up. So anyway, it's a bullshit. We just see it as a bullshit price. Anyway, so it's a lot of manipulation, as we know. Holding the physical is worth a lot more than it's being shown, and we must understand that. As long as we understand that the price of gold is not, what did I say, 40, 47, 14, or somewhere around there, we know it's much higher. So you just got to put blinders on going, I know it's higher, and I'm just going to wait till it goes up. The same thing with silver. We know what is it, 81, so it's 80 and change. We know it's a lot higher, and we know it's going to explode because Mark McGuire said so, but we don't know when. We're like waiting for it to go, but it's the same concert. Well, it's going to go up, and it's going to, mark to market and this and that, and boom, boom, boom. But yet we still have this 10 o'clock drop. We still have the U.S. shorting it, the bullion banks for the Fed. Why the Fed keeps wanting it lower? Because they keep wanting you in the stock market. So when everybody goes broke, they can control us, I guess. I mean, this is what makes no sense to me. But that's the thing. So I don't know what to say. It's just bullshit. It's, this is what's wrong with it. It's price fixed, as we can see. So we know, and this is why I bring up the Titanic. We know the Titanic's going to sink because there's a hole in the fucking boat and the water is coming in, and if all the water keeps coming in, we know it's going to sink. So you can ask me, and I can say, well, I'm certain the Titanic's going to sink. And then you go, when? You go, well, I don't really know how long it's going to take, but let's say, in a day. So in a day, it's going to sink. Well, it took, 5 hours, 7 hours to sink. It's the same thing here. The water is coming in, the gold and silver It's gone to a physical market. It's a gold-backed currency. Let me bring that up with Mark McGuire when he talks about the gold-backed currency. But so we know that the gold is limited and the demand's huge, and they're on the gold-backed currency, and we know the paper gold's bullshit. And when will it blow up? As he just said, it's going to blow up. But when will it blow up? We're not sure, but we know it will blow up. The water's coming in. The dollar is being printed to death. We know that's 100% true. When, and this is what frustrates us, we're sitting there going, okay, let's get $10,000 gold already, because that's where it's going. It's going much higher. It's going to be the money. The dollar will collapse if it already hasn't. The dollar really already has collapsed, but they still use it. So you think, oh, I can go to McDonald's and use it, and I can go to Kroger's and use it. So you think it's still there, but it really doesn't have a value. That's why you see the prices going up. That's the key. Once you see the prices going up and the demand for the dollar drop, that's when it goes out. And that's where we're at. Let's get to the gold standard. He does talk about it. Open interest falls as institutional exodus. So the open interest is less. So there's less people wanting to buy the paper. But again, we know this for a year, but we're not. Now, we really have seen higher prices. When I was looking at my chats with Daria, it was like 3,100, 3,200, and now it's 4,700. So it has gone up a lot in the last year, but we saw it at 5,500, right? They pulled the curtain back. We see 5,500. We're going, okay, when's it getting back to that? Let's see. Let me get to he talks about the gold-backed currency. So he talks about Shanghai being physically backed, but yet we're not using that price. Why are we still using why isn't there two prices? Okay, here's the COMEX price, which is the paper price, but here's the SG physical price. And it's not a physical price. They're still using the spot of COMEX to price it. It's ridiculous. Let's see. He did talk about it, and I want to share that with you because I think I know a lot of us are going, when are they doing the gold-back system? And they have. And it's only on Mark McGuire you really hear about it. People still think the petrodollar is there, and it isn't, and it means nothing. And the fact where the reserve currency doesn't mean anything. Okay, let's see. So the Western debt-based dollar funded on unipolarly is being absorbed by an expanding gold anchor multipolar world now, whereas a unilateral dollar can only be exchanged for unallocated, undeliverable. Cash settled fiat gold in the Western markets, the Chinese yuan is directly exchangeable for physical gold. Just a second. Free trade multipolar. So freely exchanged for physical gold is the all-important differentiator that absolutely guarantees the demise of unilaterally and the dollar and the direct expense of the LBMA and the COMEX exchanges. So they've collapsed. We're still looking at their thing, which is very frustrating. The cartel-run COMEX is being drained of enough participants to avert what would be an inevitably delivery default. I know we talked gold standard because I pointed it out. I think it was at the 20-minute mark, but normally I write these times down when I want to share it with you. There's a little of it.
Notice, Dave, these guys are never going to return to play in that nest of vipers sandpit. And facilitated by the 100% physically backed SGE gold corridor, the Chinese yuan and the Russian ruble trade on really essentially Basel III and SFR compliant, a gold standard blockchain that's interchangeable with any other Basel and SFR compliant trading rail. So that's a huge thing. Both currencies are one-to-one backed by physical gold. And here's the point. They can be tokenized, held, collateralized, or exchanged at par for physical gold, illustrating China's mandate to internationalize the yuan. African nations are undertaking currency swaps into the yuan right now. I think I just saw Bloomberg today, Mozambique being the next African nation to convert 1.848 billion of its dollar debt into RMB that it owes China. The US-Iran war has accelerated this process significantly.
So there you go. Russia and China are on the gold standard as of now. And of course, they want a higher price because they can only print so many dollars. And the more dollars you print, the higher the gold price, the more dollars you can print. But the thing with the gold standard is if you got $1 trillion in gold, you can only print $1 trillion. So if you raise the price of gold to now it's worth $5 trillion, now I can print $5 trillion in dollars. And that's what you want, is you want a higher price because you can't print any gold. It's limited supply and that's it. You can't print it. So that's why you want a higher price. So we should see a higher price. But there you go. Gold, the gold standard is China and Russia, and Africa is coming along, and India and Saudi and Dubai, they're right along with it. All the BRICS, gold-backed currency. And that should be the catalyst to get a much higher price. So I don't know what the U.S., this is why they're at war with everybody. This is why the U.S. is at war with Iran, they're in BRICS. Russia, they're in BRICS. Venezuela, they're in BRICS. They want to go to Taiwan and invade China, they're in BRICS. The only one that isn't is India. So you're looking at that. Let me see what this is. You're looking at why we're at war with everybody. So anyway, that's the key to it. You want gold-backed currency, but we want it at a higher price. And right now it looks like it's moving. The U.S. is keeping it down for, I'm not sure the reason. It makes no sense. I'll dig a little deeper into that, but it really, we see it at what, 4,700. Nice price, but we saw the 5,500. We peeked behind the curtain, saw 5,500. Now going, why aren't we back at 5,000? And that's what's frustrating, at least I'm sure you guys and me, because there's no reason for it to stop at 47. It hits 48 and then it comes back down. What the fuck's going on? silver is at 80. We saw it at 110. Why isn't it in the 90s? Why isn't it in the 80s? Why is it stuck at 80, 81? Who's shorting it? Why are they shorting it? Again, how much money are they making on the shorts? Right? So they're making money on the shorts, even though the money's worthless. This is what I tell people who want to buy stocks. Why would you buy stocks? The money's worthless. Why would you buy Bitcoin? The money's worthless. Why would you buy a house when the market's about to crash? I don't know what this is. Let me just take this for a second. Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Good afternoon. My name is Nina. I am calling from the Senior Resource Center.
Yeah, I don't really care. Why isn't this coming up as a spam? I moved out, so they're like trying to dick me, and I just want to make sure. Look, keep my security deposit. I don't really give a fuck. They're trying to charge me for the money I already paid. I owed the utilities, like the water and the garbage was like $45 a month. They said, yo, for 2 months. Okay. So I paid the 90, and now they're saying, wow, yo, 90 and then 50 for, I assume, a late charge. And I'm thinking, no, I already paid it on time. You had till the 5th business day, and the weekends aren't business day, but I paid it on the 5th day anyway. So I'm like, that's all done. And then they're trying to charge me $228 for damages, which I don't know about. But you owe me a $200 security deposit, so just use that. I'm not expecting it. I don't care about the $200. It's just a wash. So I just want to make sure the 28. So I emailed them and left them a message, and I haven't gotten a response yet. So I think they're just playing games. My friend said they just do that now. So if you move out of your apartment, they're going to just find charges to get away from paying the security deposit. He says that's normal. I said, okay, fine. Keep my security. So I'm waiting for them to call. I called them and I emailed them, and I haven't gotten any messages yet. But anyway, the gold standard, we're just waiting. It's a very positive for gold. We want the price to go up. So that's where we're at. So anyway, let's take our last look at gold. Any other sports questions or anything like that? So, nope, I don't see it. All right, gold, we end 47.12. So it's staying above 47, and silver 80.14. We don't care about Bitcoin. It's not real. And when it's priced in dollars, and everything priced in dollars will go out. People stupid enough to buy Bitcoin, good luck. People stupid enough to shop at IKEA, good luck. Again, I will say, if you're shopping at IKEA, you're going to get scammed. They're going to charge you the $50 to put it together. So they should just say, instead of $29 for a coffee table, it's $39 and we put it together. And then you'd go, okay, fine. But to pay $50 for a $29 table is crazy. I don't know. This is from Old Miss, and I'm not answering it. I've already got a spam today where I answered hello and nobody answered. So I know it's like to see if I'm there. So I'll start getting these spam calls because it says my line's open. But anyway, so I got to call the old apartment and say, look, fine, let's just end. I don't want to have a balance that isn't real. I've already paid that 90 and just keep my security deposit. And that's it. And we're done. Because I don't want to come back and say, well, you never paid it. You owe us all this interest or whatever, when it's already, in fact, a done deal, pretty much. So anyway, I will call them. That's why I'm kind of answering the phone. Otherwise, that's it. Like, again, my fridge is on, and it's a low thing, but it's on a lot. And I don't really want to hear it. It sounds like a washing machine going through the cycle, or a dishwasher going through the cycle. But you get on edge. You just don't want to hear it. And I think here it's a smaller apartment, I guess. And so I'm hearing the kitchen more. I'm hearing the fridge, where in the other place it was a bigger apartment. And I was probably far enough away that I didn't hear when the fridge would pop on. Once in a while at night, it woke me up. I would hear it cycle, and I went, "What's that noise?" And it was the fridge. But normally, I don't. It just seems like it's on a lot, even though I'm not opening it. You'd think if you're not opening it, it shouldn't be on at all. Anyway, that's it. So have a good one. Anything else? So again, baseball, the 4 units, the Cubs in Tampa, 2 units, Houston, Philly over 7.5, Baltimore over 9.5, the Yankees under 7.5, St. Louis under 8. Chris Sale, we got 3 units on Atlanta as a dog, and Pittsburgh 2 units. Basketball tonight, Philly -1.5. They're down 2. We don't know if Embiid's playing. We assume he will play, and even if he doesn't, we still got to take Philly. I don't know how much he played in game 2, but they played a close game. And then San Antonio -4.5. The series is tied at 1-1. They will play hard tonight, and with Winnebago, they should dominate. And I don't know Minnesota with Anthony Davis if he's playing or not. All right. So that is it, I think. Questions, comments, gold, look for it to go up. We've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and it's 47 and change, and it's 80 and change silver. So we're okay from where it's at, but we're not where it should be. It should be by now $6,000 gold and probably $100 silver, on its way to $700-800 silver in that. And so I don't know how long they can keep the boat from sinking. Nick, hello. Likely Philly tonight too, back against the wall game. Well, we hope Embiid plays. If Embiid plays, then I think we're for sure. I've never seen a guy so injured. Like I said, Isaiah Thomas played game 6 against the Lakers when he got hurt in the third quarter with basically a broken ankle, and he scored 30 points. He played game 7. It was sore, but I don't get this Embiid. He's always hurt. He's always, had the appendix, and then he's got a back and a knee, and I just never seen anybody this frail playing, and he's very good when he plays. Question is, will he play? Now, I think at home, the Knicks role players won't be as good, and Phillies will be better, and it's just do or die. And the way they came back against Boston, I just think, yeah, this should be good. And I don't love San Antonio, but they are 1-1, and I think it woke them up losing that first game. So yeah, I mean, he got the split that they wanted, but I think it's such a small spread, 4.5, that San Antonio will just show you how good they are. So I do like that. Like I said, baseball, the streaks, the Cubs are on the hot streak, Tampa's on the hot streak, and Cincinnati's on the cold streak. So we're just betting the streaks. Again, we bet KC, they lost. Okay, we're off of them. We bet the Yankees, they lost, and we're pretty much off of them. Today we're playing the under because it's free against the ace on Milwaukee. So it should be a very low scoring game. We hit Scanes the other day. We hit Ric Flair the other day. And we got Chris Sale going against the Dodgers as a dog. And it's just like, okay, that's almost an automatic play. The Dodgers aren't really hitting well lately, and their pitcher sucks. He's got like a 5.6 ERA. In Atlanta, I know the one guy, I think Achuo, is out, but they got some hitting. They got 4 or 5 big hitters on Atlanta, so they're a very live dog. We'll see about Daggio on Baltimore. That's a steal. Something smells that none of the teams brought him in as a free agent when they brought in players like the guy from Penn State. They actually drafted this pig. I mean, so that doesn't really make sense. So anyway, that's where we're at. So good luck today. I'm going to start putting it on Teaser King. I think we'll start next week, $25 for the week. I mean, I just keep, here's my week. I have plus 5 units, plus 12 units, plus 5 units, plus 6 units. And we got today. every day I'm making plus units. It's not about how many games I give you, because I gave you a shitload on 5-6. We made 5 units, but I gave you a little bit less on 5-5, and we made 12 units. So again, there's a few, like today, the 4 units are the Cubs in Tampa, and on the hot streak. Now they might lose, but you know that's what you're looking for. I think the Cubs are on 9 in a row, and Tampa's on like 7 in a row. So you want to make hay, and when they lose, we'll get off of them. But until they do, we want to bet them. So I think I'll start that Monday, and you'll have the whole week and they'll be like basically the 2 unit, the 3 unit, the 4 unit plays, and I'll just post them there. So 25 for the week, we'll get you that password. Like we do in football, you get the whole week in football. One guy bought my football and he says, well, I bought it on Tuesday. I want Tuesday to Tuesday. And I go, well, no, the week starts on Tuesday and ends on Monday. So you get that week. Like you can't buy it on Wednesday and then try to get, I get next week's games because I get a week. No. You get the play week. You get week 7's games, which end Monday night. So nice try, fella. So we'll see. I think that I've got it pretty figured out, and you get some strange games. Basically, you're looking at the pitching and you're looking at the streaks pretty much. These injuries, school's out. The Tigers are depleted. Baltimore's depleted. So the Mets haven't figured it out yet. So you just wait for them to get hot. When they get hot, you go from there. Anyway, so that's it. Gold and silver again. The boat's sunk, and we're just waiting for, okay, everybody's out. Why aren't we getting real physical prices, which are much, much higher? So we will see. But the dollar's gone. The dollar has no value, and really just go to Myers, go to Target, go wherever, and things are much more expensive. I mean, I went to Myers for a fucking hammer and it was $24. So I went to True Value. This was $8. So Myers, you want to buy a hammer, it's $24. You think, that's where the dollar's lost its value, that they got to charge $24 for a fucking hammer. But the problem with Target or Myers, they only had one brand. They only had Stanley, and that was it. So I go to the hardware store and they had 5 different brands, and all I needed was a simple $8. I can nail. So I've nailed in for my pictures, like here, my Van Gogh here, next to me, I just a nail them in the wall, put it in, and that's it. So all I needed the hammer for was that. I'm not making it. And then I'm still frustrated with IKEA. I got to call my friend and see if he can give me a half hour on the weekend. He's busy. I understand that, but I want to get this taken care of. I'll take a shot at it, but it's really difficult for me. The diagram is terrible, and it should be much easier than it is, but we'll take a stab at it. But I refuse to pay for a $60 TV stand, $50 for them to put it together. It's not that the $50 is a lot of money. It's that it's a $60 stand, and you're kind of blackmailing me into, if you want it, we'll put it together for you for $50. They should put that for $20. It should be based on the value, and they theoretically should have it. They should have like a floor model or something that you can take. It should not be just a flat $50 fee. If it was $1,000, then it would justify. For $60, it doesn't justify. And then it's more of a scam, because that the instructions are terrible, and that you're going to have to hire them and pay $50 if you want the table. So basically I'm saying, fuck off. I won't go back to IKEA, and I will find a store that has it already together, and then I will buy it from them. If I have to pay $10 or $20 more, well, that's fine. But I'm not going to do it this way. Anyway, so that's it. So don't shop at IKEA unless you're a mechanical guy who can take it out and put it together. If you can, great. Then you'll save some money. But if you can't, or like me, I'm a finance guy, I'm a math guy. I have no idea, nor am I in the mood after moving to try to put it together. I have no interest in putting it together. I have no interest in trying to read the instructions and taking 2 or 3 hours to put something together. I don't have that time to waste. So that's where I'm at. Anyway, I think that's about it. www.teaserking.com. Questions, comments. I say I got an email from my friend Paul, who sends me a lot of emails, and I will see what he does. And I'm going to call the apartment to see, okay, I'm going to give you $28 and we're all set. Take that 90 I've already paid you. I don't know what the 50 is. I assume it's a late charge, but it's not late. And you want to charge me $228 for damages that are just made up to not pay me my $200 security deposit? Fine, just use the security deposit against it. I don't care. I just don't want it. Oh, 6 months later, well, you owe us $1,000 in fees. That's what I just like to not leave loose ends around. So we will see. Anyway, have a good day and good luck in the sports. Good luck on the gold and silver. Again, it ends about 5:15 today, and it's Friday, so China comes to bat Sunday. And what I keep noticing Sunday night, it immediately goes down. Like the first action is down, and then China starts to buy it. And again, I can't figure out why it doesn't go up Sunday night, why China isn't buying this. Apparently, China's buying the shit out of the physical, but it doesn't register on the COMEX Ponzi scheme. So keep that in mind. It's a buyer's market on COMEX. It's way cheaper than it should be. Buy as much as you can. If you can't afford the gold, buy a quarter ounce, buy a tenth of an ounce, buy silver, buy something. Because if you got 50 grand in the bank, you're fucked. It isn't worth anything, and you'll be lucky to get it out. So don't leave your money in the bank. Leave a couple grand to pay the bills and get the rest in gold and silver. And if you need to go on a vacation or you need money, you just cash in a gold or a silver, and it's very easy, and you won't get 1099, and there you go. Just sell it to the store that you bought it from, because they'll know it's theirs and they're not going to worry about it. Anyway, that's it. Have a great day. And I'm going to have some lunch. I'm going to go to the pool, and that's about it. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye.